Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome back, everyone. Now, if you own property, if you're looking to invest, or honestly, if you just want to understand where your hard-earned money is actually going, you already know that property taxes can feel like a total maze. But here's the thing. Understanding this system can quite literally save you money, and it can reveal some absolutely crucial investment details. Today, we're focusing on Missouri. We are going to break down exactly how to look at property taxes by address in the Show Me state, completely decoding the whole process so you can navigate it like an absolute pro. Right out of the gate, we've got to talk about the severe financial stakes involved here. If you miss the December 31st property tax payment deadline in Missouri, you are hit with an immediate one-time 9% penalty. Boom, just like that. And unfortunately, it doesn't stop there. On top of that initial 9%, interest accrues at a rate of 1.5% every single month your balance goes unpaid. This is a massive hit to your wallet. And get this, simply saying your bill got lost in the mail, the state doesn't consider that a valid excuse. You have to know how to proactively find this information yourself. And you might be wondering, why is this system so rigorously enforced? Well, Missouri local governments rely on property taxes for a staggering 26% of their total revenue. For many local entities, we're talking especially about schools and fire districts, this is the lifeblood that keeps their essential services running. But because it's such a critical localized funding source, the administrative system is highly decentralized, and frankly, it's often super confusing for property owners to navigate on their own. So, here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to decode the terminology, look at essential research tools, walk through a step-by-step search guide, interpret the data we find, troubleshoot common issues, and finish up with some important tips and a quick disclaimer. Let's jump right into Section 1, Decoding Tax Terminology, the building blocks. Before we can run, we really gotta walk. The very first term you'll encounter is ad valorem tax. Don't let the Latin intimidate you. This is simply the technical term for property taxes. It literally translates to according to value. It just means your tax liability is directly tied to the value of what you own, whether that's real estate or personal property, like a car or a boat. Next up, we absolutely have to distinguish between appraised value and assessed value. This trips up so many people. The appraised value is the estimated true market value of your property, basically what it would sell for today. But your taxes aren't actually based on that full number. They're based on the assessed value, which is just a set percentage of the market value. In Missouri's classified system, residential real property is assessed at exactly 19%. So to put that into perspective, if you have a home with a market value of $100,000, your assessed value, the number you're actually taxed on, is only $19,000. And this brings us to a brilliant way to picture Missouri's split administrative system, the assessor versus the collector. I like to think of it like a restaurant. The assessor is the chef. They operate independently to identify the fair market value of your property and create the assessment. Basically, they determine what the property is worth. The collector, on the other hand, is the waiter. They don't set your property value or your tax rate. Instead, they consolidate the rates from all the different taxing jurisdictions, print out the final bill, bring it to your table, and collect the payment. You'll very often need to interact with both offices to get the complete picture of your property. Moving right along to Section 2, Essential Research Tools, and specifically, where to look. Because Missouri is such a decentralized state, you aren't going to find a single magical Missouri property tax search website that covers the whole state. Instead, you have to go straight to the local county portals. You need to identify the exact county your property is in and find their specific assessor or collector website. For example, you might use slewiscountymmo.gov, jacksongov.org, or greencountyassessor.org. Now, a nice little bonus here is that many of these counties actually use the exact same underlying software vendors, like DevNet, to power their search portals. So once you figure out the system in one county, it's kind of nice because it often looks very familiar in another.
All right, Section 3, Step-by-Step Search Guide, Finding Your Bill.
To navigate these local portals, you really need a precise roadmap so you don't get lost in the menus. Here are the high-level steps. First, confirm the exact county jurisdiction. This is especially tricky in metropolitan areas where city and county lines tend to blur together. Second, once you're on the county website, make sure you click the right portal. Real property is for real estate and land, while personal property is for things like your vehicles. Third, you'll enter your search criteria, which is usually either your parcel number or, much more commonly, just the property address. But guys, here is a massive warning for you. These local databases have extremely strict address formatting rules. For instance, Jackson County explicitly warns users not to include the state and not to use punctuation after abbreviations. You got to use standard street types like ST or AV with absolutely no periods. The absolute best trick here? Type your address one single digit or letter at a time and just wait for the system's drop-down menu to auto-populate the suggestion. Trust me, do not just copy and paste an entire address, or the system might completely freak out, throw an error, and tell you the property doesn't exist. Which brings us to Section 4, interpreting the data, reading the results. So, what do you actually do once your search returns a hit? First things first, locate the payment status to ensure you aren't running afoul of that strict delinquency timeline we talked about earlier. Bills are mailed out in November, payment is due December 31st. And pay close attention here. If you physically mail your payment, it absolutely must have a U.S. Postal Service postmark on or before December 31st. Dropping it in a blue mailbox at 11 p.m. on New Year's Eve? Yeah, that might result in a January postmark, instantly triggering that brutal 9% penalty plus the interest. Oh, and if real estate taxes sit unpaid for 3 years, the property actually goes to a tax sale auction, which usually kicks off on the fourth Monday in August. Beyond just looking at the balance due, you really want to review the other key data points on your bill. Look at the levy list. This breaks down all the overlapping jurisdictions you happen to live in. You see, you aren't just paying the county. You're paying the school district, the city, the fire district, maybe the library. And each of these entities sets its own tax rate based on their specific budgetary needs. Also, take a second to verify your assessed value, check that any exemptions you qualify for are actually applied, and review your payment history to ensure your past payments were properly credited to your account. Let's look at Section 5, troubleshooting common issues and avoiding pitfalls. Even with a perfect roadmap, database searches aren't always flawless, right? So here is your quick troubleshooting guide. Issue 1, you never received a bill in the mail. Action, go online and pay it anyway. Like we said, Missouri statute mandates payment by December 31st, whether you physically received that piece of mail or not. Issue 2, you can't find your property at all. Action, double check your geography. Because you're searching online, it is bizarrely common for people to accidentally search the portal for St. Louis County, Minnesota, or Clay County in another state instead of Missouri. Always verify the state. Finally, Issue 3, you made a late payment by mistake and you want forgiveness. Action, understand that county collectors generally do not waive penalties or interest fees. The law strictly requires them to collect it. And finally, Section 6, important tips and disclaimer. Let's wrap this up. As we finish up this explainer, this point is absolutely vital to remember for homeowners and investors alike. Missouri reassesses real estate values every odd-numbered year, and crucially, there's no assessment cap that magically resets when a property is sold. The existing assessed value just stays on the parcel until the next odd-year reassessment. What does this mean for you? It means odd-numbered years are critical. It's when values can jump significantly based on market conditions. If you disagree with your new assessment, you must appeal to the local Board of Equalization before the summer deadlines. Do not wait until you get the bill in November. By then, the value is completely locked in. And of course, please note our quick professional disclaimer here. Verify all details with your local tax authority or a qualified professional. The information provided is for educational purposes and may change without notice. While we've thoroughly researched all these systems for you today, your local county assessor and collector are the absolute final word on your specific property tax liabilities. Which leaves us with this final, very important question. Are you prepared for Missouri's next odd-year reassessment cycle? Don't get caught off guard by that 9% penalty. Take just 10 minutes today to navigate to your county's portal, look up your address, verify your assessment, and ensure your escrow account is ready for the road ahead. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy researching.